Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of CITROEN F1 Racing, F1 team, Myteam career mode. As you can see, we are still still very far behind the rest of the field when it comes to R&D. As you can see there, that is just a good representation then. Our facilities aren't greatest. Our engine's not the greatest. It's lasting about 2 races and that's it before it dies. See Oscar Piastri there, not even on fraud watch. He's on immediate fraud watch and he is going to get, gone straight away. And I'm just taking a scroll here at the transfer market, the driver market even, and I'm gonna, just sell my eyes. Just looking at a few people, seeing what's up. Nothing much. That's just about what I'm doing. So if I just stay paused on a person, don't take that seriously. I'm just looking at all the stats and whatnot. But yeah. So I end up upgrading a few of the facilities here, especially the build time, so that our car can build quicker. Because I think that's actually a very important one, considering it takes so long for the pieces to deliver. And when we don't get it in time for the good Grand Prix and when we actually need it, when everyone else is upgrading their cars, you can see we are still very far behind. That was very bad. But anyways, done all the practice sessions. Now on to qualifying. That's me telling my mechanic, if he doesn't fucking do what I tell him to do, he's going to get fired. If he doesn't build us a good car next year, he's going to get fired. So yeah, that's basically what was going on when I sat down with Piastri in the room and I spoke to him. I said, listen, if you qualify out of P22 this race, you're still going to get sacked. But maybe I'll feel a little bit bad for you. But that's it. Anyway, into qualifying here. Honestly, this car just felt like a boat this race. Honestly, it just couldn't get turned in. I couldn't turn the car down into the corners. It felt so sluggish and so heavy. It was so hard to drive. It was so understeery. It was ridiculous. I had to make a setup change. And I changed the wing. I changed the wings, the wing angle a little bit. But literally, I can take the corners. I was going wide at Cops here, and don't usually really go wide. But yeah, literally, it was the car was just struggling to turn in. You see how I go a little bit wide there into the second corner of going into Beckett's. And so you go wide there again as well. So it was just basically just going wide. Literally, I couldn't turn the bloody car in. That's why I kept going wide. And here again, I went wide again. And I'm going into Vale now. It's okay. It was okay through Vale, but it still felt incredibly sluggish. And as if there was no grip. Here I spin going across the line. And it just felt incredibly sluggish and just slow. It was just horrible. It felt horrible. So yeah, here we go, straight into the setup. Tell my mechanic, right, change my fucking wing angle, mate, because this is not okay. I'm not having this. I can't bloody turn the car. Can't turn the thing. Look at our engine. It's literally on the verge of blowing up. And this is not okay, because in the race, the only thing my engineer's telling me, he was literally going you having a loss of power, this and this. That's the only thing he was saying. He didn't say anything else. The man wouldn't shy every 5 minutes. He was like, you might suffer a loss of power because of this. Honestly, it was like my MFD was getting lit up like a Christmas tree. You know how people say on the car dashboards, it looks like a Christmas tree. There you go. That's what my MFD looked like. When I had tire wear, it was just orange colours everywhere. It was ridiculous. Well, I actually got to red at some point in the race. And see, the setup was a little bit better. Still going wide there, but it's okay. Maybe they should extend that curve out a little bit more. But yeah, honestly, here going wide again, it's so hard. It was still very hard to get the car turning, but that wasn't even the setup there. That was just the car just being extremely sluggish and slow. So yeah, I go wide there again. It's just wide central. It was impossible to drive this car. It was ridiculous. Going into our last run, we're up on our time immediately. Yellow flags, don't know what for. Hopefully no one crashed. So you can see Sonoda, he will be a problem for us in the race also. He was on my back. And Magnussen blocks me on my lap. Are you serious? He's not. He just come out of the pits and he just blocked me on a lap. And there you go. That's the time. That's the timing sheet. That's the grid for qualifying. Oh my God! Oscar Piastri didn't qualify P22. He qualified P20. Perez didn't even go out on a run because he was starting last anyway. But Lance Stroll actually got beaten by Oscar Piastri on raw pace. That is ridiculous. But onto the grid now.
We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone and it's time for the British Grand Prix. The 3.6-mile-long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and of Copse flat out. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race.
Right, so this glitch is happening again, where it doesn't go past the second person. And yeah, I don't know why there's no music either, but let's carry on.
Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So yeah, onto the grid now. We're on the grid. He's blowing something in my face. Don't know what that is on the left, but it's all right. But yeah, so it's going to be a tricky race, not our home race, so we don't care. And I'm not British either, so don't ask. You can see I've got the Portugal flag, and that makes me Portuguese. And funny enough, onto the formation lap. You know, most boring thing about this career mode is having to do things like formation lap and short qualifying and whatnot. I mean, I prefer. I hate one-shot qualifying because it's so dumb, I think, but yeah, anyway, moving on to the formation lap. I'm going to skip to the end of it in a second, and yeah, because I doubt you want to sit here and watch this. Right, lining up on our grid now, actually get it green, actually get it purple this time, which is great, so now I've got it like red every other time. As we almost go green here in the UK, as we go 5 red lights, and we go green, and we go racing this lights out, and away we go here in the Silverstone Grand Prix. There at the back, you see I go on the right-hand side of Alex Albon. I make the moves immediately into turn 1. Verstappen gets off well, better than Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. You know, obviously Carlos Sainz winning the Grand Prix here in real life, and all the cars on the left-hand side being moved about. You can see I make about 5 places now into P9, right, sitting behind Esteban Ocon into this straight here. As you can see, Max Verstappen taking a 5/10 lead over Carlos Sainz. And unlucky for the last race before, Carlos Sainz had to pit early and ended up DNFing anyway because of mechanical issues. But Yuki Tsunoda immediately on my gearbox. But you see Pierre Gasly also making a move on his teammate. He wants out of this team. Maybe not for Citroen. Possibly for Citroen. We don't know yet because there's no talk about that. And, you know, we're not at the driver market yet, but Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly have their fair few battles. As he dives down the inside of Copse, he has to back out a little bit, and I go, why? Because of it. As in, like, I take avoiding action, but I had to stay ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. But Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda battling here into Maggots and Beckett's. And Pierre Gasly is looking very racy for this race, including that last really good result in P6 at Canada, obviously due to Perez taking me out. And, you know, I mean, early on in the race, he was having a cracking race anyway. He'd go up to P4 from P7, like, immediately off the start. But there you go, Yuki Tsunoda going on the grass there to try and overtake me on the left-hand side, even though I gave him no room. And going into Vale, he cannot overtake me, obviously. He's a bit far back, but yeah, him and Pierre Gasly will have a cracking race together, as in, like, they'll be fighting each other. There'll be battles everywhere. Perez already making moves on Zhou Guan Yu. But Zhou Guan Yu not giving up, but he just lifted up a little bit, I don't know why, and decides to pull out of that move in turn 1. And Perez is now ahead. He started P22, he started last, and now Daniel Ricciardo is last, so I don't know what's happened there, but he's last now, and Oscar Piastri sticks in the P20 spot, and he loves having a 2 in that position number for some reason, but it's fine. And Daniel Ricciardo is very far ahead, and now Verstappen has gained that lead over to 6/10 from what we last saw it on Carlos Sainz, but he's doing very well to stay within that Red Bull's reach, because that Red Bull is insane, as Perez is demonstrating here in the Silverstone Grand Prix, as he's already made the moves up the grid, and Verstappen is looking to win this race. You know, he made it past Copse turn 1, which is he made it past Copse in lap 1, which is great. You know, and he did it this year as well. That was really good for him. And but yeah, we got George Russell and Hamilton, the favourites, the home favourites there. Lando Norris also there, but Alex Albon, also considered a home favourite. Sergio Perez has gone past him, so maybe not so much anymore. But the Williams, he's done very well to drag that Williams into the points every now and again. But this is the replay of the start. I go on the right hand side of Albon. I make up a few places already to P14. Mick Schumacher there blocks me off a little bit. I was trying to go on the inside of him, but he was quite slow. And I go on the right hand side, a huge dive bomb into P9, and that puts me straight into P9. Dive bomb there, like 4 cars. But there we go, into P9, and I couldn't get Ocon there into that corner. But it's okay, because he's a much quicker car anyway. He would have swallowed me up anyway at some point, because that Alpine is ridiculous. As you see, I try to defend from Yuki Tsunoda, and I block him off a little bit. And yeah, as he goes wide a little bit, now invites Pierre Gasly, as you can see there at the back. Pierre Gasly to have a go at Yuki Tsunoda, and it's for P10. It's only 1 point, and it's the start of the race. This is my view of the Cops corner where Yuki Tsunoda dived down the inside. This is the view of where Yuki Tsunoda went on the grass. That was just me defending normally, and that was his choice to go around the outside there. But there you go. And there, he wasn't close enough to make the move. He didn't decide to make the move even, and yeah, so I stayed ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, and I will be for the rest of the race. But he will be challenging me throughout this whole race, I can tell you now. As he goes down the left-hand side, he goes right to left. Turn 1, I was ahead, so I went miles ahead. So there you go. And he wasn't able to overtake me, and he still hasn't. And obviously, he still has Pierre Gasly there pressurizing him. So he has to deal with trying to overtake me and trying to defend from Pierre Gasly, also his teammate. But now onto lap 3, you can see Oscar Piastri getting at that valuable P20 spot from Sebastian Vettel, trying to, as he dives down the inside here. And Sebastian Vettel not giving up, because you can't, it's quite embarrassing to say you're a 4-time world champion and you lost to Oscar Piastri in a Citroen. Okay, well that would be very embarrassing. But Piastri has got DRS on Sebastian Vettel. I don't even care for Piastri anymore. You don't even see him part of my team. I'm just driving by myself in Citroen. Literally, that's how I feel like. But you can't even get past Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin. And the Aston Martin, we know, is a boat of a vehicle. But so is ours, supposedly. As you can see from this race, should I say qualifying? Qualifying was absolutely shocking. But anyway, on to Ocon versus Bottas. This is an incredible battle already, lap 3, as he goes to the left on the outside here of Valtteri Bottas. And Valtteri Bottas stays on the inside. He sticks that move, and he's really battling this position. You can see me and Yuki Tsunoda trading positions there also, but these two have gotten away from us because of the battling between me and Yuki. Ocon slightly ahead, but Bottas on the straight, he is there. They're side by side down the start-finish straight into turn 1. They were side by side, and Bottas is ahead a little bit, and Ocon is still there. He is still there on Valtteri Bottas' side pod, and but Bottas is the exact same. He is there. He's ahead of this corner now, and Ocon is still fighting. This is a phenomenal battle so far that we have here between the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo, and Bottas is slightly ahead of Esteban Ocon using his more experience of driving a Mercedes for ages. But Bottas has the DRS, but Ocon is still staying side by side as if he was the one with the DRS. But look at this now. He's ahead ever so slightly. But Bottas is getting ahead even more. Going into this next corner, going onto the old pit straight, Ocon gets a slingshot on the outside as he squeezes Bottas on the inside, but Bottas is still there. He's hanging on the outside, in the inside, but Esteban Ocon has to go side by side into Cop's corner, and Bottas is finally ahead of Esteban Ocon as he most certainly pulled out of that, as it was dangerous to go side by side there. But Ocon's not done yet. He will have the DRS onto this next straight here, and will Ocon be able to challenge him? I don't think so. But anyway, back onto me here. I go wide a little bit, and that invites Yuki Tsunoda to go attacking me now. He goes on the outside as I pull behind him, and I pull to the inside as I make a dive bomb here on Yuki Tsunoda. He gives me room, and I finally go through again after Yuki Tsunoda makes the move on me. As you can see, Yuki Tsunoda behind me locks up, and that invites Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly now fighting Yuki Tsunoda side by side, going on to the start-finish straight. Never mind. Yuki Tsunoda stays ahead. Pierre Gasly will want to fight this on again because, you know, like I said, they will be fighting. And into turn one, they're going side by side. Noah pulls out, and look at that. They're side by side still into this next right-hand corner. And Pierre Gasly backs out slightly. Yuki Tsunoda stays ahead, and that's just like how they were in the real Silverstone Grand Prix, where obviously Yuki Tsunoda took out Pierre Gasly, which is a bit ridiculous and not okay from Yuki Tsunoda. But Pierre Gasly is behind Yuki Tsunoda now, and I've managed to gain enough gap to where Yuki's out my DRS, but it doesn't matter because he's closed back up again. He just hopped over the curb and he's hit into the bank tyres there a little bit. And I asked my engineer if I have any damage to my vehicle, my wing damage even, and I don't, thankfully. And Yuki Tsunoda goes to the outside. You see Lando Norris also there wanting to have a look, picking up the scraps maybe from the battle between me and Tsunoda, but currently it's not looking like Lando can get through. And Yuki Tsunoda will be fighting that one off as he does get ahead of me eventually, and I dive bomb into the same move as I did a few laps ago, and into that corner and into the Vale now, and he's behind. He stays behind now for the rest of this lap and this next coming lap also. And Yuki Tsunoda is looking very racy. And he's looking like he wants to battle me a lot. He pulls to my left hand side of turn one, and he almost took the move, but he just backs out at the last second. Into lap 9 now, Yuki Tsunoda is attacking me again onto the left hand side, this time not on the grass. He overtakes me before the corner, and Pierre Gasly's almost there as well. I block him off thankfully, and he does not get ahead, but Yuki Tsunoda is now ahead at the end of lap 9. But I dive bomb him into Vale now, and he tries to switch back move, it doesn't work. I am still ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. I stay ahead of Yuki Tsunoda now, and that's it for that lap. You can see Charles Leclerc has overtaken Carlos Sainz, and they go side by side into turn 1. Max Verstappen there also, and they are battling now. They are battling for P1 as Charles Leclerc is ahead of this corner, but Max Verstappen, I think, has the DRS onto this next straight. You know, the DRS is very powerful when it comes to the Red Bull, considering their car is extremely quick down the straight. And no, but they're going 3 wide. Look at the behind, Carlos Sainz and the 2 Mercedes going 3 wide into that corner, and the 2 Mercedes have both overtaking Carlos Sainz at the same time. Lewis Hamilton is the one that benefits the most as he goes into P3. Max Verstappen is still stuck behind Charles Leclerc into the Magnets and Beckett's, and coming out of the Magnets and Beckett's, here you go, Charles Leclerc is going to get pressurized. No, Max Verstappen's engine blows up. His engine has just given up on him on lap 11 of 26 of the Silverstone Grand Prix, and that's not good for the championship battle, as now Lewis Hamilton and George Russell get promoted into the podium positions, and that's so unlucky. And as you can see now, everyone's starting to pit, and I briefly go into P1 here, and as I go ahead of coming out of the pits of Leclerc and both Russell, and this is really good. I mean, obviously it's only momentarily that we're in P1, as we are still yet to pit, and you know, they're going to catch me very quickly. And see, now I'm coming out of the pits. You see Perez is coming out of the pits at the same time as me, and no, this is not good. Perez is ahead of me, and now that is not good, because you know, he's gone from P22 to P8 now, and that's unfortunate, but it's okay. And our battle now turns to Tsunoda and Gasly again, and we have 10-11 laps to stay ahead of Yuki and Pierre. And you can see Guan Yu Zhou getting pressurized by Mick Schumacher on the inside of this corner now, and Guan Yu Zhou hangs around the outside. As you can see, Mick's rear end steps out there a little bit, and Zhou Guan Yu is still there on the inside of Vale. Mick Schumacher does not give up that position though. It's only for a measly P13 that they are fighting for, and obviously no championship points, but it's for pride, I suppose. You can see Kevin Magnussen there at the back. Going to make it 3 wide into turn 1, but he backs out of it and thinks better of it. And you can see Lando Norris down into P16. What the hell happened to him? He was P11 earlier, and had a fall from grace, I suppose. So Mick Schumacher is ahead, but Guan Yu Zhou on the inside of Mick Schumacher as they're going side by side onto this straight now. But Mick Schumacher slightly ahead of Guan Yu Zhou. He does not get the DRS though. No, he does get the DRS, over Guan Yu Zhou, and Mick Schumacher is ahead. As you can see, oh my goodness, Kevin Magnussen with a mega dive bomb on Guan Yu Zhou and almost his teammate Mick Schumacher. Wow, what a move like Kevin Magnussen that was. I did not see that coming. And unfortunately, he does not get ahead of his teammate Mick Schumacher, but that was an incredible move by Kevin Magnussen. It would have been lovely if it would have been pulled off there, but, you know, he doesn't get ahead. And Mick Schumacher stays ahead, showing great defensive work there, just like his father. But his father can't race, so... anyways, moving on. And this has been an insane lap-long battle between these three. And Zhou Guanyu will be getting pressurised by Lando Norris as Kevin Magnussen now makes the move work on the left-hand side of Mick Schumacher. But Mick fights it still. He goes on the inside of Kevin Magnussen. He stays there, but Kevin Magnussen hangs around. As you can, Daniel Ricciardo is a back marker, lets Kevin Magnussen through, but does not let Mick Schumacher through. And he also lets Zhou Guanyu through. And he's holding up Mick Schumacher in the middle of the corner. What's he doing? Oh my goodness, that is awful for Mick. And now he's going to get pressurised by Lando Norris for this lap, and that is so bad. You know, I'm coming up to Daniel Ricciardo. Will he let me through? Will he do the same to me that he did to Mick? We'll find out very shortly. I go wide coming out of turn 1. Go wide again, but Daniel Ricciardo's giving me the DRS, thankfully, as I can get away from Yuki Tsunoda. Thankfully, he moves out of the way, and he's giving me DRS to help me get away from Yuki Tsunoda because he's gained massive ground now that my tyres are falling off compared to his with at their best. And moving on to lap 23 now, Yuki Tsunoda has caught up, and this is not good because he was miles behind me, and I've gone wide there, coming out maggots at Beckett. And Yuki Tsunoda's having a go at me in this straight with the DRS. You know, my ERS is like slightly broken. As he goes on the left, Pierre Gasly this time doesn't go, but I dive bomb Yuki Tsunoda. He gives me room. I'm there on the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, going down into Vale. He is not ahead. I am ahead. As you can see now, Gasly is fighting Tsunoda for that P10 position, and that will go on until the end of the race, and including me also. But there's that. Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda left fighting side by side down the start-finish straight. No one has DRS, no DRS there. Alex Albon also there, looking to pick up the scraps between these two, and they're going side by side into turn 2 and 1. Yuki Tsunoda stays ahead, but look at Gasly, he's still fighting it. And Alex Albon dive-bombed Pierre Gasly in there now, side by side, Alex Albon and Pierre. And the two that have lost both their Red Bull seats and had a fall from grace, having a great start to their F1 career, both of them, and just being dumped like they're no one. And Alex Albon and now Pierre Gasly are fighting for this P11, and that means Pierre Gasly is out of the P10 contention. And that means... Alex Albon wants that P10 now, but Yuki Tsunoda is gaining enough ground on them to not worry about it anyway, but onto the pit straight, sorry. They're going side by side, now going into the Copse corner. Albon is slightly behind and Pierre Gasly stays ahead on the Copse corner, and Albon decides to pull out that overtake. But what great racing by these two, and hopefully there's more of that because that was great. And now for the lead, for P2, and Charles Leclerc gets a 7-second lead on P2, and that's George Russell and Carlos Sainz both fighting here. As you can see, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton also there. I think Lewis Hamilton just dive-bombed both of them, but Carlos Sainz stays ahead, and now the two Mercedes drivers are fighting, as George Russell is slightly ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and that is insane. That means that Carlos Sainz might get a P2 here. He will get a P2, and Charles Leclerc is guaranteed a P1 unless his engine blows up, Max Verstappen style, but there you go. George Russell now battling Lewis Hamilton for that last step on the podium. But who will get it? Who will prevail in this battle? Currently it's Lewis Hamilton in his home Grand Prix, also George Russell's home Grand Prix. Not so much Mercedes' home Grand Prix, so it doesn't matter to them, but it's more about the pride of the drivers. As George Russell is trying to fight Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton may just about get the DRS from Carlos Sainz there, and that means George Russell might not catch up, but there you go. Now back onto me, lap 25 going into lap 26. Yuki Tsunoda still very, very close behind as he pulls to the right, or going into turn 1. He is ahead, but he slows down in the middle corner, and I just hit him. I turned into him. Oh, and it's a spin on the last lap. We're getting easy points, and Kevin Magnussen's coming through now. He will get ahead, and oh my god, he just barreled into me, and that's a retirement. No, on the last lap of the race. That is so dumb. And that's a win for Ferrari, obviously. But that is so stupid. Yuki Tsunoda just stopped in the middle of the corner, and I've turned right into him because he was stopped in the corner even though he was ahead. Oh my goodness. Lewis Hamilton ended up getting that P3. Leclerc P1 and Sainz P2. But that is so stupid. Why has that just happened? Why? We were guaranteed P9. Guaranteed P9 there. And Yuki Tsunoda just had to take us out. Like, there was just no need. I mean, I guess he didn't really mean to, and that was more or less my fault, but oh, that's so annoying. On the last lap of the Grand Prix, that is the stupidest thing ever. Well, good on you, Leclerc. I think he's leading the championship now. Maybe Sainz, I'm not sure, because obviously Verstappen retired. So unless he makes a comeback from the heavens, then I don't know. I think it's going the way of one of the Ferrari drivers. I don't know which one yet. And I guess we have to just find out when it comes closer to the time. Lewis Hamilton just enjoying that third spot there, even though it's not his, his usual spot in the Grand Prix here, the Silverstone Grand Prix, as he's used to winning. But anyway, here's the race thing results. Yuki Tsunoda in P9, where I should have been, and Gasly picking up that last spot of the grid, and Sergio Perez ended up in P6. I think I just saw that, and that's a really good drive from the back of the grid. And Max Verstappen and Ricciardo and Kevin Magnussen and I all DNF. Oscar Piastri finishing P18, and that's because it was between 1 to P18. That's it. That's it for the Silverstone Grand Prix. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video, and see even more dramatic there at the last lap of the race, which is so unfortunate for Citroen, because that would have been another points paying position for us. But onto the Hungaro ring. I really like this track, so hopefully I can make something work at this track. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I'll see you guys very shortly for the Hungaro ring and round 7 of this Myteam career mode. See you then.